Everyone sees the game. The lights, the moments, the headlines, that's the part they show you. But that's not the whole story. Because behind every win, there's something else. Pressure, decisions, sacrifice, things you don't hear about, things you're not supposed to see. I started noticing it. The gaps, the questions no one was asking, the stories no one was telling. Not because they weren't there, but because no one was looking. So I did. I stopped chasing just the highlights, and I started chasing the truth. The moments in between, the voices underneath, the stories behind the sport. Because what's real isn't always what's visible. We don't want you to hear, we want you to listen. Well, we are back with yet another Behind the Sport BTS episode, season 2, episode 4. We're already on 4 episodes of season 2, and let me tell you, the ride is going to be exhilarating. This next episode is just an awesome, like, I literally feel like this conversation was like talking to one of my really good friends. We talk about a lot of different things around the sports industry when it comes to fashion and people wearing different fits, and also just sports as a whole and getting to know her. But outside of that, I'm so curious about what the MLB season is going to bring, because honestly, I'm not a baseball girl, but I love going to the ballpark. Don't get me wrong. I love a nice hot dog. I love like the sun and just the whole aesthetic of a baseball game, like going to the ballpark. Sign me up. I'm subscribed. But this year, I'm really challenging myself to watch more baseball, because I watch all the other sports: basketball, hockey, NFL, F1. I watch all the other sports, but baseball, I have to get on the bandwagon with. Obviously, I'm in Dallas, Texas, so I gotta support my Rangers. I know we had a great run. When they had that run, I was still in college, and when they won the when they won the World Series, I was still in college, and the parade I didn't go to, but all my friends went, and they said it was absolutely so cool. The next season, we were trash, which honestly is kind of a theme with Dallas sports. But hopefully we can turn it around, and I will definitely be watching and going to a lot of Rangers game this season. I cannot stress this enough that I'm absolutely so excited for you to listen to this episode, because it's that good. So without further ado, BTS episode 4 of season 2. All right, guys, this episode is going to be so fun and so cool. Me and this girl met on social media. It's really funny because a lot of our guests on BTS season 2 so far have been people I've met on social media, and it is such a cool thing. But when I first met this girl, we and her literally talked for like an hour and a half on the phone. It was amazing. And we connected so quickly, and what she's building is really, really cool. So I want to welcome her to the show. Megan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here. I've been honestly just stoked ever since you first reached out. When you first messaged me, I looked at my sister and I was like, you wouldn't believe what just happened. I'm so excited to talk with you.
No, me too. I feel like it's like both. It goes both ways. You know, like whenever I reach out to people to like be on the show, they're like, "Oh my gosh!" But, like, I'm reaching out to you because I'm so excited to have you on the show. But I never thought about the other way around, how it can be a cool, exciting opportunity for my guests, I guess, to come on the show too. But it's
Oh my
a
gosh,
pleasure having
absolutely.
you, and I feel like, yeah, I feel like this season of BTS is like kind of stylish. Like, we've talked to a makeup artist,
Hmm.
I have another episode with another girl who runs kind of an apparel brand,
I love
and
it.
now you are coming with like the background and education on fashion. So let's start with Game Day Runway.
Hmm.
How did you create it? Why did you create it? And what's it been like so far in the process for you posting and making content around fashion and sports?
Yeah, definitely. So the idea originally came to me, I think like late 2019, maybe 2020. And I was working in retail previously, and I mean, if I had $1 every time any of my clients came up to me and be like, I want to look like, or I want to look like, Tom Brady, or I want to dress like Ryan Reynolds, how can I do it? That was like the opening line that I always got from all of my clients and all of the guys in my family. So I would always like walk them through it. And I'd be like, here's how, you can pull off or wear this type of outfit, and here's other ways you can kind of like test the waters with it and kind of adapt it, introduce it to your own style and still make it more you, but have that element that you're looking for. And I remember like I was in New York, and I was sitting at a bar with my friend Katie, and she's a huge USC fan. I grew up mainly in New England, and the promise was that like I would go to USC bars and watch her games and support her team, and she would go to Patriots bars and watch my team, and we would support each other. And I remember looking at my phone, and I was just scrolling, and I looked at her, and I was like, Travis Kelce has worn, I think, 17 bucket hats this season, and I don't know a single person who's talking about it. And she like stopped drinking her wine. She like put it down and was like, you need to talk about this. She's like, what you said right there was like so absurdly niche, but like kind of interesting at the same time. Like just kind of like go with it. You love this stuff. And a year later, I was like, you know what, we're gonna just dive right in and just see what happens. Cause it kept like gnawing at me. And I was like, you know what? Let's just talk about it. And like come to find out there are like lots of people talking about it. It's still like such a niche like space and subject, but it's rapidly growing, and it's so exciting to see just like all the different perspectives, and just where it's, the potential that it has to grow. And it's also celebrating the athletes and the stylists behind the athletes and who create these amazing looks. Like there's so many hands in this where everybody honestly just deserves a round of applause. If you appreciate fashion, if you appreciate style, athlete storytelling, like there's so much that happens behind the scenes of it that really is just a lot of fun to dive into.
Yeah, I like the fact that you mentioned that, because it's like you don't have to necessarily be like obsessed with fashion to be able to appreciate the things, especially if you like an athlete, if you like storytelling, if you like expression. Like that is all the things. And I remember there was a moment in our conversation that we had when we first spoke, and
Mhm.
you told me, you were like, there's so many different ways through fashion that you can express yourself. And I feel like that's exactly what these athletes are doing now. It's because
Absolutely.
they're on the field, and when they're on the field, what are they wearing? Their uniforms.
Mhm.
And that's a whole different conversation when it comes to all the different fines they can get, if they deviate from like the traditional look, whether it's their
Mhm.
cleats, their socks, their shirts, whatever. But the pre and post game, when they're showing up to their events, when they're like out and about, that is the chance that we kind of get an inside look onto who they really are through what they're wearing. And so I really think that's such a cool thing to think about, because we all know fashion is like an extended expression of ourselves, but I feel like we never
Absolutely.
really think about it. Like it is
Yeah.
literally an extension of yourself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I wrote my college essay on it, and I was like, for me, fashion is the purest, or style and fashion is the purest form of communication. And I think when a lot of people hear that, they think like, oh, you're just judging a book by its cover. You're being superficial. And I'm like, I totally see where you're coming from with that, but actually it can be the entire opposite of that. Like it can be really personal. It can be intimate. Like you can the way you dress can represent so much about who you are, what you stand for, what you like, and sides of yourself that you want to express. And you can do that, and you have the flexibility to do that however much, or however much you really want. And that's the thing that I like kept going back to when I was building this. I was like, it's fun to see, like, these athletes are incredible. They're the athleticism, the dedication, the mindset, physically what they're doing, especially in, the NHL and the NHL and the NBA, WNBA, PWHL. Like it's incredible. And they are these athletes, but they're humans too. And I think we all wanna know more about the people who we support and, like, cheer on, and this is a cool way to, I don't know, just see how they prep themselves, and, like, how you feel better when you look better. Like, that's not a vanity, that's not to sound vain, but it is, like, it's coming
Mhm.
from confidence, and, like, when you're walking into, the finals and you're gonna, like, win the championship, for whatever sport, like your mentality has to be locked in, and what you wear can directly reflect that and kind of set you up and like get you amped for it. Like how music does for a lot of people, it can also be the same with style. Like you want to look good, you want to look strong, however, like whatever you want to feel, you want to represent and you want to emulate, and it transcends. And the thing that I keep going back to, like, when I'm making content is, like, what can someone learn from, like, what I'm saying?
Mm.
And yeah, like, figuring out, like, how to make it digestible because there are some looks that, like, are really cool and, like, really wild and, like, fun to analyze and, like, go into, and then there are other people and then there are people who see that and they're like, "Whoa, like, that's I could never pull that off. I really appreciate how, like, cool that is, but, like, I could never do it." And that's part of the thing that I'm trying to address with Game Day Runway is, "No, you absolutely could. Let me tell you, let me show you and explain how you can."
Yeah, and that was, like, probably you said it best, like, one of the main things I thought about when I found your TikTok page, and it kinda comes back to what your friend said to you,
Mhm.
where, like, you have something so absurdly niche, and I remember, like, commenting on one of your videos, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool," 'cause I didn't know what else to say. It was cool. But to your point, there it's interesting because I feel like a lot of times it's a huge thing now, like, the runway
Mhm.
literally
Literally.
for athletes when it literally the runway from
Truly,
when
yeah, no,
they
exactly.
get out of their car yeah, right? From when they get out of their car to the locker room or to wherever they're going before a game and sometimes even after, but all those looks that we're seeing whether it's like you said, the NBA, the NFL, the WNBA, the NWHL, like all those looks that we see of
Mhm.
these athletes, it kind of does need to be explained. Like I would love to get educated on it. I would love to listen about, oh, maybe that is a personal theirs where all the proceeds go to charity or like there's
Mhm.
so many cool things that these athletes are wearing for a reason that I feel like often goes unnoticed because not enough people are talking about it, which is where you come into play,
Yeah.
and that's
A
so awesome.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, it's just it's such a fun thing. I geek out on it, honestly, like, I could talk about fabric for hours, and I had a client actually who reached out to me a while ago, and he was like, "Hey, are you doing personal styling?" I was like, "Yeah, I am," and, and I worked with him, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember you. You talked about linen for, like, a really long time," and I was like, "Oh, good. Glad," and that was, like, a point where I'm like, "Maybe let's dial it back a little bit," like, I can just geek out and talk about it forever, but it's the educational part and also the support that comes with it. Like it's expression and it can be art and it can be, as much as you want it to be. Um, but it's celebrating the athletes, like I said. And, I always thought like I could like I mean, all my clients and so many guys coming up to me and women too, but like so many people coming up to me being like, "How can I wear this? How can I do it?" And I was like, I can break it down for you. Let me break it down. And if you want it, take it. If you don't, that's okay. But there's so much to appreciate and to learn through style. And it's, like, I think, like, humanity wide, like, it makes me appreciate everybody a little bit more because they're telling a story with everything that they're wearing a lot of the time. Maybe not every day, but like what you wear and what a lot of these athletes, like, put on, like, walking into on the runway, like, walking into the stadium is storytelling at its purest form, and that's something really beautiful and exciting and just something fun to celebrate and shed light on.
Yeah. So Game Day Runway,
Mhm.
like obviously I know your TikTok page, but tell us like what kind of content you post, how often do you post
Yeah.
and what like I know your main goal is to educate people, but like give us an example of like a TikTok video that you do.
Yeah, so I honestly, I post the same content that I do on Instagram and TikTok, and truthfully, like, for full transparency, I'm like, "Should I maybe, like, try one versus the other?" And kinda I'm still, like, test driving a lot of things, but it's been fun, and for the whole, NHL season or NFL season this year, I've been doing style power rankings where I rank typically my top 3. There have been a couple ones where I'm like, I narrowed it down to 5, and that itself isn't a miracle, like, there were too many, I couldn't select just 3, like, I had to go to 5. And I explained, like, what I love about it, why, and I try to do my best to shed as much light on the stylists who put together these incredible looks and oftentimes make them too, because they are incredible. And the turnaround time too for them is crazy. And for anyone who's worked with athletes for
Insane.
it's insane. I mean, like it's like 48 hours sometimes where I'm like, and you're in different states. Like, how do you you're making this velvet suit? What do you mean? Like, it's crazy. And
Yeah, and that's just like that's one outfit out of
that's
all
one
of the other
outfit.
outfits
I'm like,
that
it's
I'm
week
sure they have
10,
to
bro.
wear,
Like,
and yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I like it's celebrating them and, giving them shout out for their amazing work is also something that if you've ever been a stylist, if you've ever worked in fashion and retail, like is so important and is a joy of mine to celebrate other people's work and to shed light on it. It's for me a real honor too. So, um yeah, I do style power rankings and then there is style nugget and that's like the most educational, I would say, content pillar where I'm like, here's like a little piece of advice or a little like literal nugget, like here's how you can implement this or this is what this is and here's what it means or how to create it in your own way. Here's what to look for. And then there is fit or fumble and that is where I get I would say my most controversial where I rate something a fit or a fumble. And when I made this account originally, I was like, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be negative. And style, like I said, is can be something that is so personal and intimate. And I never want to like bash someone for something that they like. Like that's not the right thing to do. That's I don't like that. I don't subscribe to that. And so when I do fit or fumble, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to rate something as a fumble, I want to give context as to why and ways that I would improve it or like little suggestions to make it stronger if it could be stronger, whatever the case may be. So that's the one where I'm like, I
Mhm.
want to always be positive and for the few and for the ones that I have ranked fumble, it's like I would just love to see a little bit less tension on the suit, or like it's just a size too big, or like I don't know if this fit is the right fit for him. Here's what I would do instead. Like still bringing it back to an educational, POV and like additional context. Because the other thing too is like their athletes, they're going in for their job and they're going in for game day. They're about to, play and continue on the season positive mindset only, like never negative vibes. So that's something that I try to be incredibly cognizant of. I'm switching to the NHL, PWNHL, and the NBA and WNBA. And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm trying to adjust my content for some because it's just me. Like it can take a while to create some of these videos, and I'm like, how can I make everything without, sounding repetitive? What are the key points that I can point out this week? How is that going to change next week? So I'm in the middle of like adjusting and kind of recalibrating just from what I've learned from this season from the NHL, from the NFL to, all these other sports and celebrate their athletes too, because there's so many things to shed light on that are really cool and fun to talk
Yeah.
about and learn.
Yeah, and guys, side note, not to jump ahead of myself, Meg and I have talked. This will definitely not be the last time she will be making an appearance on BTS. So there's going to be some things down the road that we will kind of collab on and discuss. And I'm so excited to.
Same.
Okay, to like play a little bit of a game, I wanted
Yeah.
to bring moment of silence. I wanted to bring this outfit to your attention if you have not seen this. This was
Okay.
worn by Mac Jones in this past previous season. Mac Jones, if y'all don't know, is the 49ers QB2. He played a lot of time
Mhm.
because Brock Purdy QB1 missed a lot of time for the 49ers. I mean, that whole team was decimated by injuries this season, but they made it far. Good for them.
They really were.
Um, it was a sight to see, and I think it was
Truly.
I'm rooting for them next season. But I don't want to go into too much
Same.
of a football tangent. But okay, Mac Jones
Yeah.
wore this. He wore this suit walking into Thursday night football. And I'm going to show you.
Yeah. I wonder if it's one of the I had a feeling. I had a feeling. I remember
Have
that
you seen this
one.
before?
I remember where I
Okay.
was when I saw it, and I was like, "It's bold. It is very bold." And, like, it's a two-tone. It's totally different from
What were you like?
anything.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like, would you put that? Would you put one of your clients in a suit like that?
And truly, it depends on who they are and, like, what they're drawn to. That is not something that like, that
Okay.
style like, I wouldn't typically go towards that look, but if that's something that my client really likes. Like I like Mac Jones's style. Like I think he's still figuring it out. He's pushing the boundaries where he can, and that is something that everybody does. There's going to be some fits. There's going to be some fumbles. Like it's all a process. That one to me, I feel like it wore him more than he wore it. Does that make sense?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, like I think there are some times where I feel like it can overpower uh the person. And I think that like I don't know him personally, so I couldn't tell you, for me it wasn't my favorite look. I'll just say that. It wasn't my favorite look for him. Um it was such a harsh contrast. Personally, I like stuff that has a little bit more of a flow to it and softness. That's just my personal thing. But if I don't agree with something, it doesn't necessarily always make it or really ever make it wrong. I look at it as another point
Mhm.
of view where I'm like, what can I learn from this? Or is there like a side to this that I don't know about? And if there is, what can I learn?
Yeah, I love that you're always thinking positive. That is just like such a refreshing thing to see because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I looked at that and I was like, "Oh, rough." But, he did his Dougie. That's what he likes. So I think we can all learn something from you for that. I want to talk a little bit about like your educational background because I think
Yeah.
this is very fascinating. So can you walk us through like where you studied, what you studied, how you studied it when it comes to like fashion?
Yeah, definitely. So um yeah, I went to school originally in Philadelphia, very small university called Philadelphia University. Right now, it's actually called Thomas Jefferson University. And I studied fashion design there for about a year, maybe a semester. I actually ended up transfer or switching my major to fashion merchandising. And I remember I had the incredible honor of being on the board of the fashion like program. And I remember following one of the senior leaders into the senior design room. And I remember seeing this girl, I'll never forget it. She was sewing this gorgeous gown and it had like hand sewing like these little tiny beads and sequins and it looked like water. Like the fabric looked like water. It was so amazing. And I complimented her on it and I was like, this is so beautiful. And she's like, thanks. I've been sewing for 8 hours. And I was like, oh, me and my ADD gotta go. Like maybe I gotta pivot. And I still love the design aspect of fashion, obviously. Like I've made dresses in the past. I still really love it. And creating something with your hands, I think, is so rewarding and so fulfilling. And it's therapeutic. But sewing beads for 8 hours in that moment scared me. And I was like, maybe, like, I like being on my feet. I like working with my hands, but I also love talking with people and understanding people and like seeing how I can help them through, navigating personal style and all of that. So I switched to merchandising and I transferred to Marist University, and that was just awesome. I met some of the most amazing people there, and I studied fashion merchandising. Graduated with a a BS in fashion merchandising with a double concentration in product development and business because I could never let go of the design aspect. So that was my educational background, and I worked at a magazine in college for a few summers, and that was really exciting. And I then after college went into retail, and I worked in women's wear, I worked in menswear, I did some luxury, and then I worked in e-commerce, I worked in merchandising, and I had a little bit of time in allocation and develop like e-commerce boutique development online, working a lot with vendors, and I've been fortunate to see so much of the industry. And that's something like within the past 10 years that I'm so grateful for because like now when I'm creating content, like, I think back to all of the experience that I've had throughout all my roles and my education. And I it's just been like a big for me, it's been a big help of like kind of tying that back and like understanding more of the real, like the true work that goes behind creating garments and, setting up a boutique and like, all the ins and outs of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's like so cool because I feel like to your point,
Thanks.
like seen a decade of experience and now you can take that experience and apply it to something that's applicable to your passion and what you really want to do. And it
Mhm.
happens to involve sports.
Yeah.
So speaking of sports, tell me like what, okay, let me start here.
Yeah.
As Megan and I were talking the other day, she casually just drops a bomb. She's like, "Yeah, my cousin's a Paralympian," and I was like, "Wait, wait, 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 what?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, he's like the Paralympic, like
I mean, I would agree with you. I would fully agree with you.
what campaign was he in? Like the whole
Yeah,
no, and I'm like, I don't worry, guys. I followed him, and I was like, he's legit.
he's very legit. I like on my life, very, very legit. Yeah, so it's not a it's every time I talk about him, I just like it's such a powerful thing because he's so amazing and like everything that athletes go through, I've seen it, behind the scenes with him. And I'm his cousin, and I've seen, his family and his siblings and his parents. Like, it's just an incredible thing to celebrate, and it's honestly an honor to be able to say that, someone I love, and even more like someone that I love and I'm related to, that I've grown up with, that I've, you know, known my whole life, is a Paralympian. And with that, it's all like celebration and appreciation to him and his everything that his family has supported him through it. It's a crazy thing. So my cousin is Jack Wallace. He is on the Paralympic Sled Hockey Team, and we are like, I mean, to say proud, quite frankly, is a complete understatement. Like, we're so immensely proud of him. And I mean, you want to talk about mindset, dedication, commitment. I mean, just like relentless determination. You look at him and all of the guys. I obviously know
Unmatched,
Jack
yeah.
very personally, of course, but like the and that, like, when I was creating Game Day Runaway, like, I think to him so often, because I'm like, you think about the mindset, like, you're going in for the game, like, this, like, you're hyped up. What are you doing? How are you, like, mindset, performance, like, how are you going into it, and what you wear, like, reflecting out of that too. And yeah, like, I feel like I get speechless with it, because it is such an amazing thing, to be able to say, and to be able to celebrate and honor him is truly, it is my privilege. And he has worked so hard to get to where he is and to be at the performance level that he is. I mean, it is nonstop. So we cannot wait. We are cheering, screaming Team USA. And yeah, just like overwhelming love and support. It's truly an honor.
Yeah, so we're recording this right now. The Paralympics have not started yet. They start March
Correct.
6th. It's not quite yet March, even though I'm waiting for it because it's my birthday month.
Oh, same.
So when you listen when you listen to this episode, they might be over or whatever, but
Mhm.
we are wishing Jack and Team USA so much love and so much luck. I'm so excited because I feel like now the hockey and the Paralympics are going to be something amazing to watch because of what happened with the women's and the men's team.
Yeah,
And first and foremost, we will always support women. We need to stand up,
always.
make sure that their voices are heard,
Mhm.
and their accomplishments aren't due to other controversies and other
Absolutely.
things going on. So
100%.
important. I am like I cannot wait to
We're so excited.
watch the Paralympics this year.
Same. I
So
have to
okay,
say,
sports wise,
yeah.
sorry, no, go ahead.
No, 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 I have to say, like, the thing that I am honestly most excited about is just to, like to be there watching him with all of his family. Like, with his parents, and to
Oh yeah,
be
guys,
there, and, like, and with his
Megan's
siblings.
going.
Oh, we are. We're going. And that's
She's
that's the thing
going.
that we are going, and I am, like, I'm so excited to, like, just be in the moment and to be able to celebrate that with them and to be there experiencing it with them. Like, that's the thing that I'm most excited about, for all of us to celebrate and support Jack. Um, that's the thing, like,
Mhm.
all together, that's the most rewarding thing. And I was reflecting on this earlier. No one tells you, like, all the good things, like, when you grow up, like, what the best things are, or, like, things to most look forward to. And for me, I think one of the best things that I've been fortunate enough to experience is people who you love just absolutely thriving in what they love to do and what they're doing. There is nothing more rewarding than this, and this is just such a great example. It's just the best. Like, it really is.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of other sports though, like I know you said you grew up in New England. Are you a
Mhm.
big sports fan of any particular team? It can be any league, any sport, but
Yeah.
what do you like ride or die about?
Oh my gosh. Well, so we moved here when I was like 5. I love the Patriots. I will always be a Patriots fan. My mom, though, grew up like in Giants territory. So my mom is also a Giants fan, and I would root for the Giants, and I would also root for the Patriots, and I have family who are, huge Buffalo fans. So, like, I always want my family and the people I love to, like, win. I will say I am rooting for the Bills so hard. I think all of America is at this
Same.
point. I
Yeah.
I want them to win so bad, so bad. But Patriots for sure. I remember that. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I I fell in love with basketball in high school. We had a really great basketball team in high school, and that was because I had always grown up in a big football family. And going to high school, our basketball team we went to states. I was a cheerleader at the time, and I got to like go to the garden. It was amazing. And I fell in love with the sport then. But one of my favorite movies of all time is Space Jam. We lived in Chicago before we moved to Boston, and Michael Jordan is like to this day, I can't like I love him so much. And being a kid, like I don't know if you watched the Last Dance documentary. I
Mhm.
we all sat down and watched it, my entire family. We all sat down and we watched it, and I looked at my parents and they were like, "We remember every moment of this, and being in Chicago, this was so fun to experience." We didn't get to go to any game, but the hype around it, the community, like, it was just such a great thing to experience as such a young kid, and I remember one of my vivid
Mhm.
memories, from there is playing in a sandbox, and I carried around a Red Bull Beanie Baby with me everywhere, everywhere. We were such huge fans, and to the point where, like, even, like I mean, like, when I was, like, older, my sister and I were still convinced that our dad and Michael Jordan were besties, and they would go golfing on the weekends. No one told us that. Like, I think, like, he went to a conference where, like, there was, like, a statue of Michael Jordan, and we were like, "Dad and Michael Jordan are best friends. They're best friends. They hang out, they golf on the weekends." Like, 5-year-old Megan is like, "For sure, for sure."
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
So, the
Oh
Chicago Bulls will always
my
have a
god. First of all,
very,
Beanie
very
Babies, what a
special place in my
blast
heart.
from the
Oh
past.
my gosh, right?
That's crazy. Yeah, what a time to be alive. I feel
Truly.
like I mean, I'm about to be 25 this year, so it's like I didn't get to experience a lot of the great sports moments, but that's what's also beautiful because, like, we're making sports history as we're going on. But it was a special time back in the
Oh my
day from
gosh.
NBA and a football standpoint, like,
Truly.
and hockey. Like, there were some
Yeah.
awesome moments that you kind of miss out on. So that's very interesting. I like the Patriots. I was
You're the only
unfortunately
person
rooting.
who I've ever spoken to who has actually said that. Everybody I talk to who does not live in New England is, like,
Well, like,
adamantly against them, and we're used to it at this point, so I don't but, like,
uh,
that's so refreshing,
yeah,
actually.
I'm just like a football fan, and so I
Totally.
can appreciate good things. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't I was clued into like the Patriots era and the dynasty and Tom Brady, but like I wasn't like as invested in football as a sport as I am now. And so I feel like that kind of plays a part into why I'm not like, oh, screw the Patriots. But this year I think what they did was cool. Like, I have pros and cons for the
Sure.
Patriots. I like the Patriots, pros and cons.
Yeah.
I really like Josh Allen and the Bills.
I know.
I am rooting for them.
I
They got to
know.
fix so many things on their team, but I'm really,
Agreed.
really rooting for them. I actually found out that the Bills owners,
Mhm.
his daughter is a professional tennis player. And I thought that was like the coolest thing.
I love that.
Yeah. She's like
Go girl.
was at the Australian Open, like everything. She's really good.
I love that. Good
So
for her.
that's really funny. But I feel like basketball, same for me. I grew up watching basketball. My
Mhm.
dad would take me to the games, Mavericks games all the
Oh
time.
my
We used to have like
gosh.
a sweet, like, we kind of living posh back in the day.
Love it. I love it.
But yeah, that was like fond memories. I remember watching like Jet Terry and like Dirk Nowitzki and like all those type of players in the Mavs back in the day. And that was like very near and dear to my heart. And I love basketball. Basketball's
Aw.
like there's something about basketball that football just will never be, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can't hate both. Like you have to like them both.
No, you
Like
have
there's
to.
never
I
a one
think
or the other.
absolutely, there's so much to appreciate about each sport. I was so young when we left Chicago, but I remember just being obsessed with Michael Jordan and the Bulls, and when I got to high school here, I went to my first basketball game and it was electric. Like just absolutely
Mm.
electric. And we had such a great team, but like you could feel the energy more. I think one, like you're in a stadium, or sorry, you're in a gymnasium basically versus like an outdoor stadium for the most part. From where I was, I could see more of the game cheerleading. Like you actually can see the court versus like if you're a cheerleader, like if growing up, on the sidelines, you're looking at the football players. You can't see the field a lot of the time. Like they're blocking your view, and they should because they're playing the game. But it was cool to like, I'm like, oh, I can actually like see the game now. Like this is great. And it was so energetic, and I loved how quick it was. It was just, it's such a fun sport to watch.
Mhm.
I re-fell back in love with it.
That's the one thing my mom always says about basketball. She's like, "I love
Mm.
football, but I can't really get behind it because it moves too slow." She's not. I don't know why I just did that accent, but
Oh
when
my
it comes
gosh.
to basketball, she's like, "Yeah, like I can watch basketball because it's fast and it's fast paced." But I love that. Shout out to Michael Jordan, man. What a
What a
guy.
guy.
What
What
a
a
guy.
guy.
Okay, so Game Day Runway is very much thriving in it's building and growing. What are your next steps for Game Day Runaway? Like, what are your goals? What do you want to see kind of get done in this year?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
So I'm in this space, like I said, like I'm kind of, this was the first season where I've actually been able to like really dive into it. And it was so much fun. And I'm so grateful for everybody who I got to meet along the way with it. It was great. It was so wonderful. And so I'm like kind of taking everything that I've learned, and I'm positioning, and I'm like kind of pivoting obviously to other sports and learning, what can I say here? What, like what is relevant here? What's relevant here? Like for the example, like the NHL, they lifted their dress code ban for a while, like for years, all of the guys could only wear suits. And on the other side, the PWNHL is picking up. So like we have to highlight these women because their style is also crazy good. So I'm thinking like, what additional sides can I bring to this? So like I'm focusing like, yes, the educational part of that is there, but like, you know, healthy competition, like, putting one team against the other. Another content creator, Victoria Kick the Concrete, and we did the NFL style playoffs, and we throughout the whole NFL playoff season, we picked the teams who were going against each other, and we picked, 3 athletes per team, and we asked people on Instagram because unfortunately TikTok didn't allow the voting setting and we couldn't make it work. But on Instagram, we were like, pick your team, like who won the game, who won the runway. And it was a really fun way to, kind of have a little bit of healthy and fun, lighthearted competition with it. And to also celebrate, the
Mm-hmm.
athletes and the stylists as well throughout it. And then another one is, culture and community, like what's happening behind the scenes, behind, like the athletes, like how they get dressed, what they choose, how they feel, and also, the community behind like all of these different brands and the people who support them. Like, what are the stories behind it? That's the other thing. Like, the fashion and style is so deeply rooted in storytelling. How can I bring that to Game Day Runway and, highlight and honor so many different brands, and stylists, and, the communities that they represent, and celebrate that. And then the other one is confidence, and that is something that I'm personally working on. That I'm kind of like, maybe we'll be a little more like personal with it, but like, it's like it's me putting myself out there, but like how to translate confidence through style, and it's all about how you feel internally more than anything. um, so how do you take that and put it on, I wouldn't say as your armor, but like as like the thing that you want to lead with. So that's kind of where I'm
Right.
looking at.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times too, kind of similar to what you said about Mac Jones earlier when it comes to
Mhm.
his suit, like it was wearing him versus the other way around. So how can we
Yeah,
as people, wear our clothes and truly like let our personality shine through our clothes and in turn
totally.
give confidence when you walk into a room, not because
Absolutely.
you're wearing bright colors or anything like that, but just because
Yeah.
you look good, you feel good, and you're gonna do good. So
Yeah,
I I that's really cool, and Game Day Runway is something that I feel like is so needed because there's so many different intersections where people are starting to get really, really creative on combining it with sports.
totally.
And at the bare minimum, like, okay, there's fashion in sports,
Mhm.
and we can talk again. As I was kind of saying earlier in the episode, it's this new really cool niche thing where you're combining sports and education and fashion and confidence and expression and storytelling and all these different things, to be a bigger and a better platform. Do you have you found any setbacks or like adversity, whether it's been within the sports industry, whether it's been within yourself, just being consistent in posting? I know we talked about both of
Yeah.
our kind of pains and mindset on that, but walk me
Yeah.
through kind of some of the adversities that you faced while creating this.
Yeah, I get in my head, honestly, so much about, gosh, everything, but, like, um, I, always am, reflecting, like, am I repeating myself here? Am I bringing like, what else am I bringing, like, new to the table? Like, or have I already stated this before? Like, making sure that I am, not like, I'm not trying to repeat myself, and I'm actively trying to, like, think, like, what other perspectives and things can I say or can I, share about what I'm seeing or the focal points of this one look, and how can I translate and break it down in a fun or different way? Like, is that a video? Is it a reel? Is it a carousel? Like, what other platforms are there? And then, truly, like, just staying on top of it, like, just with my schedule, like, am I batch recording? Am I recording all in one day? Like, how to like, we talked about this earlier, but, like, the bloopers are crazy. Like, the bloopers that I have that I've deleted are wild, where I'm, like, just tripping over my words, and, I play it back, and I was like, "I don't think that was any language at all, like, that's just gibberish." So I would say that there, yeah, and I think, like, the big thing that I just keep reminding myself is just lead with positivity and always just try to uplift and celebrate people being who they are and sharing that, because that can take a lot of bravery, especially in, where everybody is so quick to judge, and especially with fashion, looking, and for many, like I said earlier, like, coming across as so topical, it can actually be the exact opposite. So leading with a little,
Mm.
giving everybody just, like, a little bit of kindness and, yeah, just being positive, because being yourself can actually be really hard, and if you're brave enough to do it, you deserve a shout out.
Yeah, I literally saw a video on TikTok this morning, and it was this guy, and he was like, the reason why your posts aren't getting any likes or any views is because you're not showing your personality, like you're not acting like yourself. And I feel like when people start on their content creator journey, they're often trying to emulate a person that they look up to, which nothing
Mhm.
wrong with necessarily, but
No,
you have to find your own lane and you have to find your own voice, because that's what people crave: authenticity. People want you to be the most authentic
absolutely.
person you are, and that's what makes the world go round, is because none of us are the same. Like, we might have similarities, but that's what makes us unique, right? So
Yeah, and
it's
that's
really
something to
special and really
celebrate.
cool.
Yeah, it's something to celebrate and highlight and support. Be like, "Wow, like, look what," like, I always think about it, I'm like, "Well, what else can I learn from this?" And, like, just leading with that, and it's just such a great, I would say, approach that I found for myself, where I'm like, I can always learn something, and with that, I'm growing as a human, and that's, that's the best way to live.
Yeah, literally the best way to live. Love it. Um, okay. So, yeah, we're gonna wrap up the episode, but before we wrap up, there's a couple of things I want to get out there, and that is our insider secret, guys. If you don't know what our insider secret is, this was something I did in season 1 of BTS, and I'm bringing it back because I think it's so cool, and it's also great. Just for socials and stuff like that. So basically, your insider secret is a story or a piece of advice or a moment in your sports career journey, that you've encountered, or something that you've learned that you never really shared with anybody. And you're going to share it with me and all of us on BTS. So, Megan, what is your insider secret that you have for us?
It's more of a tip, but something that I always tell clients, get a little weird. Like, however comfortable weird, like, wherever you are, like, wherever weird is for you on, like, the giant spectrum of weird, wherever you're comfortable, experiment and play with that. Like, it should be fun, it should be lighthearted, and if you are interested in growing and building your own personal style, turn inward. It's figure out what you love and what you're drawn to and what evokes something within you, and I think for a lot of people that can be really like a, whoa, that's a really intimidating question. But it doesn't really have to be like, why are you drawn to this one brand over here? Or why are you always, wearing this one specific coat? What's the story behind it? Does it make you feel something? Go inward when building your own personal style and focus on how you want to feel first before you look to logos, big brand price tags and all of that, where it's more, I would say, like, for me, style, I would say, is so personal. Start inward and figure out what you love and what you want to emulate, and then try and go find it and express it through what you choose to wear. And get a little weird with it. Like, have fun. Like, really, when I say weird, have fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, get a little weird with it. You heard it here. Megan, the one, the only, Game Day Runway, get a little weird. That's her insider secret. That's her advice. I
Yeah.
love that because oftentimes I think I'm very weird and people don't really like. I show my weird to a few select people and I'm starting to embrace it more and show it out there more.
Same.
And I hope that it's portrayed in these videos and episodes that I do. But great advice. I think everyone can take a page out of that book and subscribe by that information. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Last but not least, can you tell us where we can follow you or we can follow Game Day Runway, how we can
Yeah.
support you?
Awesome.
Megan did post. I saw this on her story 2 days ago. She's like accepting stylist
I
clients
am.
and appointments. So I don't know about y'all, but I might be going on there, and y'all should too,
Oh,
because
girl,
she's talking about.
we would have so much fun. You already have such great style too. And that's the fun thing, to like kind of build and create a repertoire and relationship with your clients and figure out more about who they are and help them in that journey. So if anyone wants to reach out, you can find me at gameday.runway on Instagram, at Game Day Runway on TikTok. I have a newsletter that is found in my Comey, and it's on Substack, it's on Beehive, and I'm continuously posting things to YouTube. But give me a follow there. And if there's anything that you guys want to see, I'm always happy to, figure out and, learn from, other content creators and people who just want to see additional content. Let me know any recs.
Yes. Awesome. Well, that's all we have for you today. But guys, don't be sad because Megan will be back. Don't worry, she will be back on
I'm so
BTS, and we
excited.
are so excited to have her and call her a friend of the show.
I am
Megan,
honored.
as always, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for
Always
sharing your
will.
story, sharing your advice, and all your fashion tips. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so this is so exciting. I was so excited to hop on here with you. So thank you so much for all the support.
Well, it's March, and that episode was absolutely mad. But speaking of March and mad, March Madness is almost here. Have y'all set your brackets yet? I'm kind of debating if I want to do a BTS bracket for March Madness. We will see. But I love this time of year. Yes, it's my birthday month, but also March Madness is probably one of the best events that college sports has outside of, football. I am tuned in and I cannot wait till we get to the Final Four because I feel like it always surprises us on the women's and men's side every single year. Maybe not surprises us, but it's always just interesting because college sports just isn't predictable. Like there's always the Cinderella stories, there's always the underdog stories, and that is what the people want to see. As always, thank you so much for listening to BTS Behind the Sports Show. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok and all social media platforms at Behind the Sports Show. You can also follow yours truly at Giovanna Scroggins on all social platforms as well. We are right back here next Tuesday at 5 o'clock Central Time with another BTS episode. As always, keep supporting and keep being curious about what happens behind the sport.